"You're banned from Thanksgiving until you apologize to your cousin," my mother said over speakerphone. Someone in the background actually laughed. "She can eat leftovers in the garage." What they didn't know was that I had been quietly funding their entire lifestyle for 3 years. What happened when I finally said enough will shock you. My name is Emma, and this is how I discovered that family loyalty is often a one-way street, paved with your own money. If you've ever been treated like the family disappointment while secretly acting as the family ATM, you'll understand. I'm 28 years old, a junior financial analyst, and for the past 3 years I've been the invisible foundation holding up my family's entire financial structure. I'm the kind of person who can turn chaos into order, late payments into clean credit, and somehow always find a way to make the numbers work, even when they shouldn't. It started innocently. When Dad had heart surgery 2 years ago, insurance covered most of it, but there were still brutal out-of-pocket expenses. I stepped in because that's what family does, right? You help when someone's drowning. Except once I threw them a life preserver, they decided I was their permanent lifeguard. First it was just until next month with the family phone plan. Then the internet bill because you're so good with tech, Emma. Then Dad's prescriptions, Mom's car payment. Somehow my quiet yes became the floor everyone walked on, without ever looking down to see who was holding them up. I wasn't rich. I drove a 2015 Honda that made concerning noises when I turned left. I lived in a studio apartment barely bigger than a closet. I ate more ramen than any adult should admit. But I had discipline, organization, and the backbone to pay bills on time. What I didn't have was the backbone to say no to them. The irony wasn't lost on me. They'd mock my little car while streaming Netflix on Wi-Fi I paid for. They'd laugh in the family group chat about Little Miss Accountant, while their mortgage autopay quietly drained from my account every month. Then came the breaking point. The family group chat pinged one Tuesday, "Final head count for Thanksgiving." I scrolled down the list of names and mine wasn't there. "Did you forget to include me?" I typed back. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then finally my cousin Marcus replied, "Limited seating. Maybe try Christmas, if you can behave yourself." Behave myself. Like I was a misbehaving child instead of the adult who'd kept them afloat for 3 years. I called Mom immediately. The sounds of laughter and clinking dishes filled the background. "You're not invited until you apologize to Marcus for embarrassing him at his promotion dinner," she said in that cutting, maternal tone. "By embarrassing him, you mean asking why he borrows rent money while bragging about crushing his sales quotas?" From the background, Uncle Pete boomed, "There she goes again. Little Miss Accountant." The nicknames stung. In their world, caring about money, even when it was your own, was petty. I swallowed my anger and said something that surprised even me. "Fine. But if you want drama, then stop using my debit card for autopay on half your bills." Silence. Then click. Mom hung up. 10 minutes later, Aunt Carmen texted, "Don't make this about money. Family comes first." Then she posted a Facebook photo of the Thanksgiving table. Candles, food, everyone tagged and smiling. Everyone, except me. That was the moment the decision crystallized. I would stop being their safety net. Thanksgiving came. My feed filled with photos captioned, "Blessed beyond measure." Around 3 p.m. Mom texted, "Saved you a plate. Porch pickup after 6. Porch pickup. Like I was DoorDash instead of her daughter. When I drove past their house, I saw the foil-wrapped plate sitting on the cold steps. A neighbor's cat was sniffing it. I left it there on purpose. The next morning, Aunt Carmen spotted me at a bakery. Loud enough for everyone to hear, she said, "Emma's been going through a tough time, very sensitive about success." People stared. I walked out without ordering. Minutes later, Marcus called. "Hey, can you front me $800 for Ashley's Christmas present? I'll Venmo you back Monday, I promise." I nearly laughed at the audacity. He'd helped ban me from Thanksgiving and now wanted money. We'd all feel better if you just apologized and stopped being so difficult. You know, family takes care of each other. That phrase, the soundtrack of my life for 3 years. I hung up, opened my notes app and started typing. Dates, amounts, receipts, reasons. Dad's surgery. Mom's car payment. Marcus's rent. Aunt Carmen's credit card minimums. Line by line I documented it all. At the top I wrote, "What they don't know is about to save me." Because what they didn't know was that I still controlled the family phone plan, the internet login, the mortgage autopay. What they didn't know was that I had every receipt, every bank screenshot, every text. And what they didn't know was that I'd finally found my backbone. My mentor Grace had once told me, boundaries aren't walls. They're love with a spine. That Saturday I started putting together what I called the reckoning. A simple office supply binder sat on my kitchen table, filled with printed bank statements, highlighted transactions, and a cover page that read, "This is what I did for you. This is what I won't do anymore." Sunday evening I went through my banking app methodically like I was defusing a bomb. In a way I was. Cancelled the mortgage autopay authorization. Removed saved payment information from the electric company's website. Transferred the family phone plan into individual prepaid accounts and texted everyone their new numbers. All clean. All legal. All mine to control. Monday morning Marcus posted an Instagram story. A table piled with leftover turkey and stuffing. His caption read, "Real family loyalty isn't about money." The irony was completely lost on him. I muted his account. My world got quieter. Later that day at the grocery store I overheard Uncle Pete in the next aisle. "We've got her back in line now. She'll come around once she realizes she needs us more than we need her." I didn't say a word. I paid for my groceries, tucked the receipt into my wallet and told myself it was a contract with my future self. By Wednesday Mom left a voicemail that began sweet and turned sour. "Since you refuse to apologize, don't bother coming to Christmas either. And spare us the dramatic spreadsheets about money. Nobody wants to hear it." Like my documented generosity was an attack instead of proof of everything I'd sacrificed. I deleted the message and sat in my apartment surrounded by silence. But this silence felt clean, not lonely. Friday morning my phone exploded. "The mortgage payment bounced," Mom screeched when I answered. "The bank is calling about late fees." What happened? Something in me settled, like a stone dropping to the bottom of a clear lake. "I'll be over in an hour," I said. Then I grabbed my binder. At their kitchen table, afternoon light streamed through half-closed blinds, catching on half-empty mugs of cold coffee. I placed the binder down between us like evidence in a trial they didn't know they were in. "This stays private," I said, glancing toward the living room where the TV murmured in the background. Dad's face went pale as he flipped to the first page. "We thought Marcus was helping with some of this." I rotated the binder toward him. "Marcus told you that because I was actually paying it. Here are 3 years of transfers from my account to your mortgage company." Mom's hands trembled as she turned through pages. Groceries, utilities, insurance, phone bills. 3 years of me holding them up while they mocked me for not being successful enough. I looked at them and said softly, "You banned me from Thanksgiving until I apologized. So I stopped paying for the holiday you celebrated without me. And I'm done funding a family that's ashamed of me." The front door opened. Marcus walked in like he owned the place. He froze when he saw the binder spread across the table. "You're really going to do this to them?" he asked, like my boundary was betrayal instead of survival. I slid a plastic sleeve across the table. His text messages highlighted in yellow. Every, "I'll pay you back Friday," that became "next week," that became never. "You can call it betrayal," I said. "I call it a boundary." Dad rubbed his temples. "We didn't realize how much." "No," I cut in, standing because sitting made me feel small again. "You didn't want to realize. You wanted me to be your solution without being your equal." They looked at me as if waiting for a demand. But I wasn't asking for repayment. I'd made that clear. "I'm just done being your bank," I said, tapping the binder. "There are instructions in there for setting up autopay and managing your own bills. You're adults. Act like it." Marcus tried again. "You can't just abandon them like this." My laugh came out tired but steady. "I'm not abandoning them. I'm treating them like the capable adults they are. Which includes you, by the way." He looked away first. "What about Christmas?" Dad asked, voice thin. "I'll see how I feel," I said, and for once I meant it. Walking out into that bright afternoon felt like stepping into a new life. One where my worth wasn't measured by how much I gave to people who only took. For the first time in 3 years I felt light instead of emptied. Over the next weeks, the family group chat filled with awkward pleas for help paying bills met with silence. Marcus sent a single eye roll emoji, then disappeared. Mom texted me a casserole recipe pretending nothing happened. I didn't respond. And you know what? The silence didn't hurt. freed me. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop doing what's killing you, even if people call it selfish. Have you ever had to set financial boundaries with family members who took your generosity for granted? Share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to know they're not alone. If this story reminded you that no is a complete sentence, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of people who chose themselves over toxic family dynamics. Remember, boundaries aren't cruelty. They're self-care with a spine.